visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. It's so great to have you here. Today we're going to talk about how you can write your very own book and have it recognized as a bestseller. How cool is that? You know, when I wrote my best-selling book, it wasn't my intention for it to be a bestseller. In fact, I didn't even have an intention to write a book in the first place. It all happened very, very organically. As you know, I had a little group in Facebook where I was teaching people all about manifesting because that's my thing. I love that. And anyway, people were getting some really amazing results with that. And so it was all going very well. And you know the story, somebody suggested, why don't you write a book? So that's what I did. And quite simply, my process was that I had to think about, well, what's the purpose of the book and what do people really want to read about? Because there's a difference between what we want to write about and what people want to read about. And that's a really important thing to wrap your head around. And it's not just relevant when you're talking about writing books. It's also relevant when you're running a Facebook group. As I well know now, I have a Facebook group called Business Acceleration, and I randomly contact people in that group periodically throughout the year to check in with them and make sure that they're getting content that's relevant, that they're enjoying and that they're making use of. And a lot of the time they want things that are different to what I'm putting up. So it's always a good idea to keep in mind that what we think somebody wants might not necessarily be what they want. So that's the first thing, of course. Tune into what you think the readers are going to want to read and be ready to write something that might be a little bit different to what you want to write about. That's the first thing. And I think that's really important because in manifesting, we understand that you have to be detached from the outcome and, you know, being able to recognize that there's a difference there between our wants and needs and our audience wants and needs is going to be a very, very critical element in the success of your book, especially if you want to be a bestseller. So from there, all I did was I waited for, you know me, I wait for inspiration all the time. I get these ideas. I've got like this really huge to-do list of all of these really exciting things that I want to do. But I just refuse to do anything until I'm in the mood to do it because I know myself, and if I, you know, sit down and push myself to get through something, it's going to feel heavy and hard and like a job, and I'm going to resist doing it and I'm going to grumble and complain about it. And I just don't want to put myself in that vibe, you know. I would much rather just enjoy myself and then wait until I was in the mood. So I waited until I was in the mood to write, and the book got written really quickly. I think I told you last episode it was only a matter of, I think, a weekend and the whole book was written. This is my process. I write really quickly, but it happens so easily when you're in the frame of mind where you're allowing your pen to just flow or your fingers to just fly across the keyboard. Something that did help was creating, I love mind maps. So I don't know if you're familiar with those, but all I do really is, you can do some beautiful ones and the software to do them and stuff like that. But for me, I just get colored texters and a piece of paper, and in the center of the paper, I write down the word manifest. because that's the main topic of my book. And then I draw like little arms coming off that lead to other ideas. So maybe one might be about setting an intention. And so then from that little bubble of setting an intention, I might have more little bubbles connected to that around how to, why you should, when you should, stuff like that. Aside from intention, you might want to write about other things. But the idea is that by the end of your mind map, you have a piece of paper that's created as a visual for you to look at, and it's just so handy to have that sitting at eye level, stuck on the wall or stuck on your notice board or whatever it is you have at eye level. Just pop it there because it's going to help you stay on track. There's nothing worse than reading a book that kind of starts in one direction and heads off and goes into a completely different one. It's not nice for you as an author, and it's not nice for a reader. So keep yourself on track with that. Creating a mind map will also allow you to do a bit of a brain dump and look at what's relevant and what's not, and it will allow you to cull your content. It's better to write a shorter book that's more impactful than a long book because you feel you've got your own beliefs around how long a book should be in order for it to be worthy of reading or buying or being a bestseller. Okay. So that's the second thing. Having a mind map is just so handy. From there, all I did was I just worked through each little bubble. And the way that I wanted to do it was I had a look at other books on manifesting, but to be honest with you, I didn't look at that many. I had a quick scan and I was just thinking, oh yeah, they kind of all look the same. And then what happened was I was on a trip away. So I go to a place called Daylesford in Victoria. It's beautiful spa country. It's like the place to go for all things spiritual. You can get Reiki there, crystal healing there, palm reading, tarot cards. There's a beautiful bookstore there called Paradise Books. There's a place that will do all spiritual mediumship and clairvoyant and all of that sort of stuff as well. It's called The Readers. I think I've been to Daylesford so many times. I know the whole the whole place. If you need any tips, just ask. But I was there and I was in one of the bookstores and I thought to myself, oh yeah, I wonder if they've got a book of manifesting, and they didn't. And then I went to the two other places that sell books, and one didn't have anything that was kind of relevant or in that general area, and the other one had, things that I feel have just been done to death. So I knew I needed to do something different because I like being different, as you know. And so then what I did was I just came back and I spoke to the group, and I went into a few different groups and I just sort of did a bit of market research really and just said, listen, I'm writing a book on manifesting, and what do you think you'd like to read about that? And the feedback kind of matched what I knew already, that the books that were out there were kind of same. And so they really wanted to hear real life examples of manifesting. So that was interesting to me. And it was interesting because my intention was to write a how-to book. So I just wanted to do like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But what the feedback was that people didn't really want that so much. They wanted, because they can get that, but what they really wanted was examples of people who were just like them, who had used the tools, and they wanted to know honestly what the outcomes had been. That's what they wanted to read about. So then, I went back to my group and I got them to test the book, like test all my tools and strategies and everything. And then I asked them, would they mind sharing their stories of the manifesting journey for inclusion in the book? And so then they were really excited to do that. And I was very, very lucky because everybody I asked agreed, and they wrote the good news stories themselves. I just kind of edited the stories to make sure that they matched the brand or the personality of the book, and made sure it didn't have like typos and stuff like that in it. But anyway, it felt really good in the end, because what I wound up doing was combining my how-tos and then saying, and here's an example of someone who used the how-tos that I gave them. And then, we presented that person's story. So there's a story in almost every chapter that's highlighting the how-to. And Anyway, so I was really pleased with it when I was finished. So then after that, and I didn't bother about setting a word count, and I didn't worry about setting a page count or anything like that. But then I was kind of stuck and I didn't know, well, what's the next step? And anyway, so I just thought, well, how am I going to get this published? And I thought, oh, maybe Amazon, because I heard people publish books on Amazon. And in the past, like years ago, I mean, don't go Googling or anything because it's not great. But years ago, I did write a book. I was in a different place vibrationally. I was proving a point to someone. I wrote a book about how to use social media, I think. Oh gosh, it was such a long time ago, but I put that on Amazon as well. But as I said, that book was just written to prove a point. Somebody said that you can't write a book in a few days, and I was like, well, yes, you can. Anyway, so I did that. So don't read that one. But so I went onto Amazon and I had to go into, it's all changed now, but I think it's called Create Space now, but now I don't think it's Create Space anymore. I think it's just called KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. So I went into Kindle Direct Publishing, got an account sorted out there, and then they have all guidelines for how to format the book and the style of the book and their requirements for publishing the book online. And you can choose whether or not you want the book to be available for Kindle and digital readers and things like that, or you can just get it published. And anyway, I just thought, well, I'm just going to do a digital print, a digital copy of the book, because I didn't want to stress myself out. This was never a big project for me. This was just something I was doing because somebody had said, hey, why don't you? And I just thought, yeah, sure, I can do that. But it wasn't ever a passion project. And so I didn't give it that much time. And I just thought, yeah, okay, I'm just going to do a digital version. What's the quickest and easiest way that I can do this? And then anyway, I just kind of uploaded it. After I formatted it and followed all the instructions, which are really easy, the next thing that I did was I just, I had to get a cover for it. That's right. I had to get a cover for it. And I didn't have time to make a cover. Plus, I wasn't feeling inspired about what I thought a cover should look like or anything like that. So I just went to my go-to platform, which is Fiverr, and I'll put a link for it in the show notes. But Fiverr is a freelancing website if you haven't heard of it before. So freelancers go on there and they do jobs for you at a fraction of the cost that it would normally be to get, somebody out there in the real world to come and do your work. There are many platforms that do this. I just use Fiverr. Another one I use from time to time is Airtasker. Anyway, so I go onto Fiverr and in the search bar, I just type in, Kindle book cover or Amazon book cover or something like that. And then all these freelancers' names pop up and I just, had a look to see who had a style or an approach that I kind of liked. And then I found somebody and I said, hey, I need a cover done. And yeah, so I just gave that information to him. Within 3 days, he had the cover back. We did a few revisions and then I was happy with it. I thought, yep, that's fine. And then I was able to upload to Amazon through Create Space or Kindle Direct Publishing as it's called now. I was able to upload the book cover and the actual book. And yeah, so then it was up and it was live. And the other thing too is you have to choose your categories. So, you want to have a look. They give you some suggestions, but it's worthwhile clicking through and having a look at all of the options and just see where you think yours is going to be the best match. So it's kind of like an online library system. Amazon, they like to search by category. So find the category. You get to choose two. Find the category that's going to match your book. Choose them, you upload the book, and then I think it was less than 24 hours. The book was, live and available online. And then I just went back into my group and I told them, hey, it's up, da-da-da-da-da. And then I got notification, I think it was like the next day or 2 days later or something, that it had become a bestseller in both categories, like overnight. And I couldn't believe it. I was so surprised, and I thought, wow, I can't believe somebody actually wanted to read my book, because part of me felt like this was a book that I really enjoyed putting together because I love manifesting, but it wasn't a book that I had invested a lot of energy and love into, because it wasn't like a big deal for me. I hadn't created it as like this big project. I hadn't put all of this, I hadn't attached to it, I had just done the opposite actually and detached. I just kind of said to myself, I'm just going to put this out there. Whatever happens, happens. And anyway, so I was very, very surprised. And then anyway, what happened as a result of that was more and more people started buying the book, and then people contacted me, and then that led to people becoming clients. And then from there, what I've done is put together a new book now, which is based on the feedback from the people that bought the first one. So I guess the key things to really understand is that you don't have to be a whiz with writing. I'm not fantastic with writing. If you follow any of my social media, you see like I often will have missed a word, or I've missed an autocorrect fail or something like that. If I can go back and catch it, I'll go and I will edit my post, but I'm not great with things like that. I'm great with energy and with flow and with bursts of passion. So it's how I get everything done. But when it comes to writing, don't think that you can't do it. Don't think that you have to be someone to write a book, because you don't. Don't think that it's not possible for you, because if it's possible for me, it's absolutely possible for you. The only thing that's going to stop you from doing this is, number one, your own beliefs about what it means to be a best-selling author, and number two, the only other thing that's going to stop you is not doing your research. You don't need to go and do a writing course at a university to be a author. No, you don't need to go and do night school in order to get your book published. No, it doesn't work like that. It's just about doing it. You don't have to wait for all your ducks to get in a row. You just have to get the idea, be excited by the idea, do your mind map if that's a process that's going to work for you. Use that mind map to cull, put a big cross through the things you don't want to address in this book. You might include them in the second edition maybe, but keep the first book perhaps shorter, a bit tighter, test it with your market, make sure it's something that they want to read as well. And get the book, get somebody to do a cover for you if you don't want to do it yourself. Now, in saying that, on Amazon, CreateSpace and Kindle Direct Publishing, you are able to do your own covers. So you don't have to pay for anybody to do it. You just use the templates and the guides, and you can absolutely do your own. The other thing I would suggest you do is invest in editing. So, I thought my book was going to be fine, and then I thought, I should probably get it edited. And so, again, I got somebody off Fiverr to edit the book. It cost me about $60. And it was a very, I don't know how I would even describe the process. It was quite a surprise to get back so many corrections. But as I said, I don't check my work. I just get it out there. I just get it done. So it helped me to have somebody on the outside look at it and say, you left out a word there. There should be a comma over there. Do we really need this sentence here, or have you already said that? And so editing is, you have a love-hate relationship with your editor. At the end of the day, your project is a lot tighter than when you first sent it off. And I'm so glad that I did, invest the time and a little bit of money in getting it done, because Lord only knows what the book would have looked like had I not gone to take that step. So I would definitely recommend doing that. In terms of cost, Honestly, the cost of getting the book onto Amazon was minimal. It was less than $50 to get my cover done. It was about $60 to get the editing done. It didn't cost me anything to list the book. That's sort of in terms of like money outlay. What did it cost me in terms of my hourly rate? Well, I've got a high hourly rate, so it probably cost me a lot. But honestly, I didn't do it during my normal working hours. I did it on my weekend. So it could be argued that it really did cost me more than maybe $150 to get this whole book done. So yeah, if you're somebody who has a book inside her or him and you're thinking that, it can't be done, I hope now you feel like it can. And if you want help, I'm happy to help you. And yeah, just reach out. It's a fun process and it's something that you can be really, 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 really proud of at the end of the day. Okay. So anyway, I am writing a book at the moment. Well, actually it's with my editor, but it gets published, when? I think 2 weeks now. And it's about how to manifest $1,000 in 21 days. And I'm so flippin' excited to get this out there because this has been written from a place of passion and it's been tested as well. And the feedback has been amazing. And I'm so excited to get it out there in time for Christmas because I think it's going to really help people who are a bit curious about what manifesting is, but also people end up using the processes and the tools in this workbook and they wind up manifesting money, of course, but other things as well. And I love getting the feedback about everything else that they've manifested. So it's getting a final sort of going over at the moment. I've given the last copy to a few people and they're about halfway through it now, and they email me once a week just to let me know how it's going. And I can't wait to share with you down the track like all of the things that they've manifested as a result of this workbook. And I'm hoping that some of them are not podcast shy and that they'll be willing to come on and share with you their experience of using the workbook. So that way you get to hear what my experience was like writing it and publishing it, but you also get to hear from a reader perspective what it was like for them. So you get the whole like full circle. How cool is that? It's so much fun, so exciting. Okay, I'll put a link in the show notes to Fiverr for you so that if you want to do a book cover or get your book edited, you can jump in there and have a look around. The link to Amazon, obviously, it's just amazon.com. You can go in there and create a KDP account, Kindle Direct Publishing account, and you can start the process if that's what you want to do. And I'll put a link to the Manifesting Made Simple, the practical guide, the book that's already published, and you can go and grab yourself a copy of that because it's a great book to read before moving into the workbook that comes out in a couple of weeks. All right, guys, and I'll put my email in there as well. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if there's anything that I can do to support you with writing your very own best-selling book or getting your book published or, just having a chat about an idea. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of the day and I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much for your company. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business and I will see you next time. Bye.